Welcome back to VFD System Expert channel. We are once again welcoming you to our this platform. This is your channel. You can ask any questions related to VFD and systems. So this session is all about induction motor and VFD control of the induction motor. Before we go into detail, let's have a smaller look on the induction machine. What you see on the picture is assembled arrangement of the stator and the rotor. Let me show you the some. This is stator arrangement of stator and the rotor. What you see, this part of the outer surface, this is the stator, and inner this part is the rotor, and this is where we connect our terminals, which is feeding supply to our stationary part of the machine, which produces the flux in the stator. What you see in the other picture, this is nothing but a distributed winding. This is the rotor winding. These are different kind of windings or different kind of rotors we have in the induction machine. Basically, we call it a kind of a squirrel cage or a slip ring induction motor. I'll explain you in detail what are these windings of the operation point of view. How does it make a difference? The rotor windings in the squirrel cage. Squirrel cage rotor windings are short circuited at the both the ends by means at the end rings. So if we see the picture, these are the end rings where we are the short circuited. So rotor windings in squirrel cage are the short circuited at the both the ends by means of the end rings. In the slip ring rotor, windings are not short circuited, but the three-phase rotor windings are accessible through externally through the slip rings. So what is the difference here? Here you cannot access this winding from the outside, but here you can access from outside. The reason for giving this access is you can add some resistance in the future over here and introduce in the rotor. So you can increase or decrease the rotor resistance. So this will help you to have a different starting torques. When you add or decrease the resistance of machine or rotor, you can see the difference in the starting torque. That's why there is a difference between slip ring and induction, slip ring induction motor and squirrel induction motor. But the main point here is this will affect only when you connect your machine to the network, fixed frequency and fixed voltage. If you connect to a variable frequency, variable voltage, then either you have a squirrel cage or a slip ring. This will not have any effect on the torque produced or the amount of torque motor will produce and which point of time torque will be. So let's see some characteristic of the machine. Characteristic what you see in the picture is called a slip to torque or speed to torque characteristic. So any induction machine which you connect to the network will have typical this kind of a torque to speed characteristic. The synchronous speed corresponds to the rotating speed of the stator to the magnetic field. At synchronous speed at this point, there is no torque is produced by the motor because no current is induced in the rotor winding. If rotor rotates at a lower speed, then if rotor rotates a lower speed to the stator, it is a motoring reason. And if the rotor rotates faster than the stator, it's in a generating reason. Hope it's clear to you. The maximum torque, what we see here, the maximum torque which can be obtained in a motor shaft is called a pull-out torque, and the nominal torque is conventionally half of the pull-out torque. The motor usually operates in the linear region between the positive and negative, which is marked over here. The difference between the rotor frequency and the rotating frequency of the magnetic field of stator is defined as a slip, what is written here. So when rotor is still, slip is 1, and when it reaches to synchronous speed, the slip is 0. Hope till now everything is clear. The electrical rotor frequency and the mechanical rotor frequency are linked by the pole number of pole pair. So that's how we defined F rotor, F mechanical, that is the P into N by 60, or what we define F is equal to 120, speed is equal to 120 F by P. And this both, even the torque and speed, electrical torque, mechanical speed, mechanical speed. So these all are linked to the number of poles. So higher number of poles leads to higher mechanical torque for the same electrical torque, and the same time this leads to lower mechanical rotor frequency for the same electrical rotor frequency. If you have any question on this, let me know in the comment section. Now let's see how when you connect a VFD to the machine, what are things we are doing. So if we are not aware about these pictures, I request you to go and check my last video regarding 3-level inverter topology, and then you can easily understand this session about the space vector. So let me explain you a small brief about this space vector. What we see here is we have learned on the last video how we transform the 3-phase system to the 2-phase or a space vector. D axis and the Q axis. So this is our alpha beta, or we can say D axis or Q axis. Sorry. The name vector control originates from the basic principle of the control strategy. What we do, they're time-dependent instantaneous 3-phase system values for either for a voltage or for the current. We transfer them into a 2-dimensional coordinate system by means of a Fock transformation. So this coordinate rotates with the same frequency as the 3-phase values. From this, there are 3 AC quantities are reduced to 2 DC quantities, which in general are much simpler to control and to give a command. These 2 DC quantities can be represented as what we call as a space vectors. So what we are seeing here is a space vector for a drive output. We will also see the space vector for a motor current. So what is important here? It is important here because at this point the field current or the current controlled in such a way that desired operating point is reached with the drive. And let me explain you in the next few slides. Let's see. Yes, sir. So here we control the voltage and current of the machine in such a way we can reach with the maximum torque at different frequencies. You see the torque against the speed, the curve is quite different than what we have seen with the dual machine. So this is voltage and current of the induction machine. So this is the output of the drive. Output of the drive we have seen in the last video. We have divided D component and Q component, and VSM is nothing but the voltage at the motor terminal. So it may be VDC by 2, and if we put all the equations together, it's a VDC by root 3. And what N here is inverters, what we say dead time or switching time. That's how we derived it. And this is voltage and current for the induction motor. So ISM is a stator current, and basically stator currents we divide into 2 parts, D component and Q component. In this, D component is nothing but a magnetization current, and Q component which really produce the torque. So it is important here what we see in our torque speed diagram. For this kind of control, the 2-dimensional coordinate system, what we have defined here, D axis and Q axis, they are aligned with the magnetic flux of the induction machine. So this allows an independent control of the flux linkage via D axis or the Q axis. So the total current, what we see here, is ISD square plus ISQ square. So if we are controlling from the drive, you can control the D part separately and Q part separately. And this really makes a huge difference if we control from the drive or we have connected directly to the grid. When you connect to the grid, you don't have an individual control over these two. But if you connect to the drive, you can control your voltage D component or the Q component, and you can really control these things individually. So based on the reference values of torque and flux linkage, okay, which depends on the really machine, the actual machine parameter, as well as an operating point. Reference values of D and Q currents are calculated, and we compare them with the controller, and finally transport back to the instantaneous 3-phase coordinates and calculate the duty cycle of inverter, and finally you will get the output of the drive to reach certain level or certain degree of torque or frequency whichever was required. Hope it is clear to you. So now we are seeing the operation point, and we see the current and voltage of induction machines, how it behaves in different operating points, like normal operation or field weakening. Normal operation is still defined like 50 hertz or 60 hertz, or after till the motor has motor after that motor will not able to produce the maximum torque. And field weakening is the same, after 50 or 60 hertz, and after that it will not produce the maximum torque. Let me give you some small brief about this. With normal operation, what drive will do, drive will give you the D current, constant D current and constant flux linkage to the machine. What it will, how it will help? It will help to have a flux always in the machine, and then Q, current Q is set as per the demand, as per the torque demand or the machine demand. So your machine is always ready to get a ramp up whenever there is a requirement without any flux linkage, without any flux built up. So hope it is clear. Let me explain you again. The constant D current is there to obtain a constant flux linkage in a machine. The current Q is set directly proportional to the torque requirement. Even at the zero torque required, the machine is fed the current to obtain the magnetization, and after the magnetization and flux linkage. So your machine can be ramped up at any point of time. The field weakening, this is very important idea. What is the main idea? What is the main idea how you do the field weakening? In the field weakening mode, we reduce the flux linkage in the machine and induced back EMF as well. So using this kind of control, it is very easy to reduce the direct current reference. We can have the individual control of D and Q axis. Very easy for us to have reduce the D or the Q, whichever is required. So we reduce the D current and we reduce the flux linkage. The reduction of the D current leads to increase in the slip frequency, at the same time same torque reference, and stator frequency increase as well. So with this reduced induced back EMF, it is again possible to increase the speed further. However, the nominal torque is no longer reached, as this would exceed the nominal power. So speed dependent maximum torque value also changes. What we can see here, that is T is equal to P by 2 pi N. This is this much how torque you will get it. So this is the characteristic of the induction machine when we control from the drive. This is the constant torque region, this is constant power region, and this is the constant slip region. So torque value, you can see here, torque proportional to 1 by omega square. In this area, torque is proportional to 1 by omega. So what we see difference here is, you see the current is always constant, and this will vary only in the constant slip region. But this is really not used in the industrial segment. We normally either operate in constant torque or a constant power region. So I will leave you with some formula, either constant torque or constant power. In both the case, your current for the machine or Q component or relation between D component and Q component will be always same. So if you know these things, you can find out your magnetization current. So what is our speed for machine is 120 F by P, synchronous speed. What is mechanical is N by 2 pi by 60. What is electrical power is nothing but root 3 VI cos phi. This is very important part, the active part. Active part is your nominal current into cos phi, and the active part is nominal current into sin phi. So if you know your power factor, we can really calculate how much your magnetization current would be. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any practical questions for your site or for your case, feel free to ask questions in comment section or send me an email. This session is all about the motors. Hope to see you in the next session. Next session may be about different load types, or if you have any specific questions or any specific idea, let me know in the comment section. And once again, don't forget to hit subscribe button and like button. Do share as much as possible. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you for the next time.